Chancellor Professor J.P. Sharma ji, the conference chair, and a very dynamic leader. So such type of programs are being organized in the university very frequently, and there is a very critical observations and critical suggestions, and I am extremely thankful to him for sparing his time to be with us, to be the chief guest of this valedictory session of 3 days conference. So I am extremely thankful to Honorable Vice Chancellor. Dr. B.S. Hansari, he is a former Additional Director General, Agriculture Extension ICR, Government of India. So he is a very renowned extension worker, extension scientist in the country. So despite of his health and all that, he had been with us for 3 days altogether. So I would like to welcome him to this valedictory session. I would like to welcome Professor K.S. Lissam, the former Vice Chancellor of SPAS Jammu, Director of Extension also. He is also the co-chair of this conference. I am extremely delighted to welcome Dr. Zahir R. Khan, who is the leader, push and pull implementation impact of sustainable agricultural practices as farm level program, International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, Nairobi. I would like to welcome Dr. M. Casey. He is head of the Social Sciences and Impact Assessment Unit at the International Center of Insect Physiology and Ecology, Nairobi. I am also welcoming Dr. A.K. Dhawan. He is the President of the Society, and my colleague Dr. Rajendra Peshan, who is the Organizing Secretary of this conference. I would like to welcome all the delegates, foreign delegates, the participants who have come from different parts of the country and abroad also, and my dear colleagues from the university, all statutory officers, faculty members, dear students, and all one and all those present in the hall. I would like to welcome all of them to this valedictory session of this 3 days conference. Thank you very much.
The success of this conference, Dr. Vishal, he was associated with us in the other conference also, and we acknowledge his support during this conference also. Then Dr. Hansal, ADG, well-known extension scientist, Dr. Vinale, Dr. Khan, our State Vice President Dr. J.P. Sharma, Asian and delegates from India, from road, faculty members of the SPAS. In this conference, it was to me it's a very successful conference because we had a lot of good presentations. 258 delegates registered for the conference. There were 7 sessions and there were 25 speakers from different countries. 3 were virtual and 22 were their representatives. There were 7 people from the were participants from the industry. During the conference, our Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh Sharma inaugurated us. He has mentioned very important points that we mentioned about the pink revolution, particularly in Jammu, and setting up of startup in agriculture. He has made emphasis in his remarks. He has mentioned that we should not mention the farmer, we should mention that the agri-technocrats word should be used now in future to give a respect. Honorable Chief Guest, Vice Chancellor, Dr. J.P. Sharma ji, Dr. Resham ji, Dr. Kamal, the President of Indian Ecological Society, Dr. S.K. Gupta, the Registrar, and the President of the local chapter of Indian Ecological Society of Jammu, and the foreign delegates, and the other delegates, media and press. I am very happy that Dr. J.P. Sharma, the Vice Chancellor, invited me to participate in this 3 days international conference.
I was talking with Dr. Gupta that this is the first time that I spent 3 days in the conference. I think the credit for that goes to patient. Because we booked my seat on the last day, next day of the last day session. So I think it may be bad or good, but I'm here. Today he put me for the poster session, the results and so on. Dr. Taban has mentioned about the number of participants and also the number of posters which were presented. I would say that there were 4 poster sessions. Showed me interest in the subject, which is a burning topic of the, not the India, but globally it is very, very warm, and the topic which needs to be thoroughly discussed. That's why we found lots of our friends from foreign countries deliberated on the topics which are very essential for us to know, and they have given their own input, research, and the future perspectives in this particular area. So I would say that there were 158 posters which were displayed in 4 different opinions.
But in our case, over the last 3 days, since we have been filled up with knowledge and evidence that can be used until the next conference and beyond, that will make us busy so that we are not going to think of the sadness of when we conclude this exciting, wonderful, educative conference. This is, I think, one of the best conferences I've attended in my life, in my profession. When Kishan asked me to participate, I was asking me to send a video record that I have never done before. So in that video record, what I was saying is, when I see the title, name of the conference, I was saying, oh man, this is really a timely conference, organized while the world or the humanity is really at the crossroads, especially over the last 3-4 years, because of the pandemic, because of the frequent droughts that many countries suffer, still they are suffering, and then because of the invasive species like locusts, polar bear, and the Ukraine-Russia crisis, and the climate change, you can name it. If I am not exaggerating, all this has distracted almost everything that we have. To mention some, for instance, the fertilizer prices. More than doubled, in some countries quadrupled. The cost of living, it reaches to the point, some people in some countries. And then the malnutrition is unbelievably has increased. How much is your exam?
And all the dignitaries, keynote speakers, staff members and students of this university and other universities who are attending this conference. I am very pleased to hear from Dr. Manale, who came first time to India and attended the conference. His impression about the conference. I have been coming to India, so for me, I have seen the head of social science and impact assessment unit, and he's from Ethiopia. He has worked throughout the world. So I am taking his impression very, very seriously, and everybody should take it. I take the opportunity to thank the organizers
for organizing such a wonderful international conference. And this conference has covered highly diverse topics in many important areas. And we can see that how diverse we are the speakers whom we invited. And the recommendations which came will be certainly very helpful for enhancing food security and environmental sustainability, not only in India, but throughout the world, because this is now a digital world. So the words which are going from here are being read all over the world. In 25 years ago, in 1997, I had an opportunity to attend the first international conference of the Indian Ecological Society in Chandigarh, which was organized by very famous Professor Dhaliwal. I had met Professor Dhaliwal at the he was working at the I was also there, he was affected for a very short period of time, and Professor Dhawan was also involved in organizing that important conference. And that conference was attended by the World Food Prize laureate, Dr. Hans Hern. And Dr. Hern was the Director General at that time when he was invited. And also, it was attended by Dr. Jules Reddy, the topmost scientist in agroecology, the professor of agroecology, and now he is the Vice Chancellor of Essex University. And fortunately, he had a very strong foundation for agroecological research and created an interest in sustainable agriculture. At that time, in 1997, a lot of research was done on pesticides. But that was the start in India and beyond, because people saw it as but at that time we did not have mobile phone, we did not have internet, so the proceedings of that meeting was not spread so widely what can happen now. I have seen in the last 25 years there is a huge increase in agricultural research throughout the world. At that time, I had just joined the International Center of Insect Ecology and Ecology, and I started my work to see that if we could use natural resources to control the pests. And lots of time people were making fun of that. They say that you can't do that. This is not possible. But now we have shown it that agroecology is very strong. It can work. It can help farmers. And nature has provided in the plants the genes, and we need to understand the behavior of the plant and how the plants interact with each other.
Today, we are sitting in the valedictory session of this 3-day international conference, which started 2 days earlier with the inauguration by none else but the most learned parliament member and the only union minister in the country, who is son of soil and a learned and internationally known diabetologist. As far as the theme of the conference is concerned, everyone, right from the day one, has been emphasizing that the topic is quite relevant and the timing is also appropriate. The period in which this conference has been organized is very well suited for holding such events in Jammu, in view of the climatic conditions and the days which are having number of holy days, and everybody can make it possible to come to this place. As far as the management of this conference is concerned, I have seen that Dr. Peshan has made all the efforts to bring innovations in the management of the conferences. We have earlier also held the international conference in February 2016, and Dr. Peshan at that time had made a record participation of the delegates, which were more than 650, and that was the record which was made in that year and could not be broken till date. This time also, he has made another record, that he has invited the keynote speakers from all around the world and very known speakers. The quality of the speakers chosen by him is very high. Arrange all such participants at one platform. I hope with the participation of such luminaries in their fields, our university has been benefited to a great extent. Those who could not make it to participate physically in the sessions, in the deliberations, can go through the proceedings and still learn the things and adopt the research conducted elsewhere in our place as well.
the time to listen to the chief guest of today's function, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor J.P. Sharma sir. I would request the Honorable Vice Chancellor for his presentation address for this August gathering, who is the inspirational force behind all the success which we have achieved in this year. Professor J.P. Sharma.
We had a galaxy of speakers, eminent speakers around the Bangladesh, Nepal, and many other countries. So when we say international, I have seen many international seminars where there was no one from outside the country. But here, I was inquiring from other places time and again, it is international now. So he was assured, yes sir, it is international. Then he told me, so many people are coming. And I have interacted some of the dignitaries, speakers. They don't have only experience of their own country. Dr. Khan, I have entered. They are having such a vast knowledge across the countries. They have worked in the international organizations. That sitting here for 3 days, they were exposed what is happening worldwide. They can get some ideas for their research, further research, and their research proposals also, because this is a very important subject. So I really consider and thank all the speakers, especially the keynote speakers who have come from across the globe. As Dr. Rishabh was telling that first of all I want to tender my apologies. On the first day of this program, I was not here. I wanted to be with you, but because of very, very important meeting with the Honorable Lieutenant Governor in Srinagar, I had to be there. And it was in the interest of the university, and I was there at the kind of progress we have made during the meeting with the Honorable LG for the benefit of the university also. The deliberations of our Honorable Chief Guest during the meeting. And it was highly relevant and very impressive talk he has given. And maybe our scientists might have taken some clue from the directions he has given during his general address. From beside the participants from abroad, we had participation from across the country, north, south, east, west, all places, and it was also immediately was telling. But every presentation was wonderful. I compliment each one of you, especially the students who have presented their work through the poster sessions. And it was also multidisciplinary and multi-stakeholders convention. There were scientists, there were farmers, there was participation from industry, and participation from students. And when Dr. Jiten Singh ji was here, he is representing 10 ministries: science and technology, atomic energy, space, and he is Minister of State and PM. So whatever things which have been discussed here, he will take note of it, and our recommendations will find a place, maybe in the policies, perspectives, which need to be implemented in times to come. And I will request that the recommendations, some of the keynote addresses, I have opportunity to be here to listen them. And the virtual kind of arrangement which you have made, it was so live that we were thinking that the person is addressing from this platform only. I compliment for that quality also of virtual presentation. lot of talk, appreciation has been made, given to Dr. Pesi. I also have some observations. He is very disciplined person, very time conscious also. One or two participants from outside, out of the city, contacted me, sir, I have submitted a paper and it has been rejected. And she signed the rejection letter also. Sir, can you help me that it is accepted? Then I thought, it is Dr. Pesi. Whether I should put a request or not, so I decided not to request. And that is the quality consciousness. In selecting the paper, I have never seen a conference where the paper is rejected. Whatever is sent, immediately it is accepted. Because the idea is to get maximum number of participation. And I was also, many things happened first time in my life. There were maybe 500 or more than 500 papers. But I was searching my name also. I don't write, but somebody gives my name. Sometimes 10 times, sometimes 5 times. Here, the topper in the list was Dr. Samnotra, who has contributed 10 papers. 10 papers. So, also advise that maybe he is working hard, but say that one doesn't do that. About the Indian agriculture, because most of the foreign delegates are also familiar with about Indian agriculture and other participants are from agriculture. There are various challenges we are facing, and some of the challenges other countries are also facing. The first challenge, I think 3 things are required for agriculture, basic things. One is land. If you see the condition of land, in 1970, per capita land availability was 2.73 hectares, which declined to 1.5 hectares in 2001, and now we are having only 1.08, and this figure is also 2 years back, maybe now it is less than 1 hectare. So now you can imagine, we say only challenge, but if you see it, what is going to happen in future? From 2.73 hectare, now we have 1 hectare. If you talk about Jammu and Kashmir, here the land availability is half of the national average. Dr. Sharma is sitting here, Dr. K.K. Sharma sir, he is Director of Agriculture. He will agree with me that now we have only around 12 canals, which is around 1 acre only. Little more than 1 acre. And it is also declining. And 23% of the Indian farmers are having only 200 square meter of land. 86% of the farmers are small or marginal. If land is not there, and that too, there is degradation in the land. Carbon content is declining. Maybe at the national level it is 0.6. In our place, it is 0.5 something. And some of the areas like Kathua and Sama, rainfed areas, it is only 0.3. So day by day, carbon content in the soil is declining. Land is not available and the fertility level, health of the soil is declining. This is the biggest challenge. Another thing, I told 3 basic things are required for agriculture. Second thing is water. If we see the water availability, In 1970 per hectare per year, water availability for agriculture was 5,000 cubic meter. Now it is only around 1,200 cubic meter per hectare per year. There is no land, there is no water. And the third thing is there should be someone to go for agriculture. NSSO data says that 44% of the farmers are willing to leave agriculture. It is not 44, it is not 60, it is not 90. When we visit the villages, especially the youth, 100% youth is willing to leave agriculture if they are provided some viable alternative. So three things, because we have produced, our education system was such that we have produced only the job seekers. And we have not developed the capacity, competency and capability of our youth so that they can start their own enterprise. But despite all those odds, I would like to share with my guests, we have only 2.4% of world land. We have only 4.2% of world water. And with that 2.4% of world land, we are feeding 18% of world population. It is a matter of pride for India. With 2.4% of land, we are feeding 12% of animal population of the world. And with that, we have 90 million tons of surplus grains. It is because the hard work of the scientists, farmers, and matching policy support. But in times to come, this situation will change. Yesterday I was seeing some paper. By 2050, the food requirement will be 70% more what we have today worldwide. Land is declining, water is declining, farmers are not interested, youth are not interested in agriculture. Then how to achieve this? Now in India, our focus is changing from productivity to profitability. Because we cannot leave agriculture. We are not like other countries where the share of agriculture is 2%, 3%, 4%, and they are technology-oriented countries and they are enjoying best of the world.
Last but not the least, now I invite Dr. Jendal Patient, the organizing secretary of this conference, to present a formal vote of thanks.
Good evening to all of you. Dr. J.P. Sharma ji, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of our University, Dr. K.S. Resam, Co-Chair of the Indian Ecological Society International Conference 2022, Dr. B.S. Hansra, my teacher's teacher, and the ADG of Extension because he has been my advisor's advisor. Dr. Zayur Khan, International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, Nairobi. Dr. Manal Ekese, an economics from ICP. Professor Dhawan, who has taught me in the class at MSc level and has been my co-advisor in the PhD, and the President of Indian Ecological Society. Dr. S.K. Gupta, President, Indian Ecological Society, J&K Chapter. Dr. Muni Muniappan, from Virginia Tech. Dr. P. Keja, from Nepal. Dr. Swayambhu Man Amate, from Nepal. Dr. Zulfikar, from Bangladesh. Dr. T.V.K. Singh, our keynote speaker. Mr. K.K. Sharma, Director Agriculture. Dr. Badwal, Dr. Mandal, Dr. Rizvi, Dr. Valli, Engineer Iqbal Singh, Dr. Katoj, Dr. Nanda, Dr. Jaswinder, and I think Neeraj Sharma from the private sector is still here. Mr. Neeraj Sharma from industry, and Kulbhushan ji from fisheries. Ladies and gentlemen,
It's a very satisfying moment this time that we at the Indian Ecological Society have organized a conference which has gone well, and every conference has its positives and negatives. Maybe there may be some misgivings. Credit goes to delegates who are here, who participated here, who are with us, who came from many countries. And besides that, I thank also those keynote speakers, especially Professor John Perkins, who is 80 plus, Dr. B.M. Prasanna, who left during the day, Dr. Dinesh Morotia, Dr. Vigox, Dr. P.S. Birthal, Shaman Olson, Dr. V.P. Singh, Dr. Martin Cardin, Purnima Menon, and especially Govindraj, who had to leave for the US to receive the Norman Borlaug Prize on 18th, I suppose, Dr. Khan, who was with us, and the people from industry, Dr. Hubli, Savanasi, Director of Research, Dr. B.C. Yadav from UPL, Dr. Subodh K. Gupta, and other industry people who joined us during these deliberations. These deliberations have been meaningful, and I was then much younger, 27 years, to be 25 years to be precise, when the first Indian Ecological Society International Conference was held at Chandigarh at Crete. That time Dr. Zahir Khan, except his hair having turned grey, there has been no other change. And another one was Jules Pretty, who was there, about whom Professor Khan told. But because of the certain misgivings about the J&K, that this area or that area disturbed, Jules Pretty was not given so permission and so on and so forth because of the advisories. Otherwise, we had the people from multidisciplinary perspective, right from social sciences to genetics to what you call pest management, to agroforestry, water management, so who discussed their perspective about the resilient agri-food system. And the students who presented and the teachers who presented their original research in the poster sessions. I thank you all for being here, being with us, and presenting your research. Whatever good happened in the Congress goes to these organizing committees and the Honorable Vice Chancellor, who wholeheartedly supported me and especially the organizing committee to organize this medical event. It was unfortunately that because he was preoccupied with the important meeting in Srinagar, he could not be with us on the inaugural day. And in the morning, that day also I called him and told him, sir, that we will be missing you in the inaugural session. But all other things said and done, any omissions and commissions which may have happened during the conference, I fully own the responsibility for that. And for that, I request forgiveness if there has been any